Hi everyone, it's Sally. I was very surprised that somebody actually tagged me for the Gluebook Tag 2020. The person who tagged me is someone named Kay's Beautiful Struggle. Thank you very much, Kay. I really appreciate that. You said I didn't have to if I didn't want to, but I kind of thought I wouldn't mind doing it. I like making videos, so even though I've shown some of this work before, I thought it would be fun to answer the questions. So I don't have a whole lot of glue books that I've made. This is one I made from a magazine, inspired by Shannon Green, of course. She's one of my big inspirations. And she made a journal for no reason. So I did too, and I used an old Ms. magazine, which I love vintage magazines. That's where I get a lot of my neat stuff. So this is one I made several years ago. And I guess I would have to say that I did use other tools in this one. Some paint, obviously. And maybe even some stamping. Yeah, I think I did some stamping too. And yeah, stenciling. And this was you know, since it was a magazine, it was sort of reverse collage in some ways. So there were things on the original magazine that I did not paint over, so I left. This was actually an image from the original magazine that I tore out and then added to a different spot. And yeah, this has a lot of the original magazine. And I mean, I would just go through page by page and add some paint and then go back and maybe do some gluing, then go back and maybe do some more painting. And of course, I don't feel like it's finished, but then I don't feel like a glue book is ever really totally finished, right? So I did very little on this. So anyway, I'll just finish flipping really quickly here. That's one of the original images. This one was just a nice background. I never really got into finishing that one. So there's that. So yeah, so I consider that a glue book. But let's talk about the questions. How many do I have? So basically, I really have only 3, which I would call actual glue books, and that's my journal for no reason, because it is, even though it's done on a magazine, it is a glue book. And my first glue book, which was this one, which I love this one, and I did put a lot of work into it. Took me a long time to finish it. I was really inspired by caged fish before I made this, and I think she does every year some tutorials on glue books, and I did it several years ago, and I learned so much from her about, you know, just basic stuff like backgrounds and, you know, choosing patterned paper for bigger sections and then doing the small stuff later. I love her glue books, and I'm very inspired by her. Okay, so I have only 3 glue books. I have these 3. These I do not consider glue books. Before I did glue books, I did art journals. And art journals was one of the first things I did, maybe, you know, 15 or 20 years ago. I have several of them. These are just a couple of them. And I had a lot of fun doing these. And you know, I would put paint and doodle, but also some gluing. So not really a glue book though. And so that's just one of those. And here's another one, which I would just call an art journal. But it has gluing also, but it has other stuff too. So some painting, drawing, stitching. So anyway, these are so I just have these 3 glue books. And my favorite one is the first one I did, which was this one. And favorite page Actually, there's some pages in this, my new one, that I really like. I do love black and white. And I have a black and white page in here that I like a lot. Let's see if I can find it. I like to use paper that already has something on it. When I'm doing a glue book, I don't like plain white pages. So this is a record sleeve, some music paper, old book pages, some of my jelly prints that I wasn't that crazy about. And here's the black and white page. Yeah, so I like this one. It's not, I mean, I don't know if it's my favorite or not, but I do like it a lot. I like working with black and white. And favorite magazines. Well, vintage magazines, I would have to say, are my favorite. Excuse me. I love old magazines like from the 30s and the 40s or the 50s. I think I just love the vintage images in them. This is an old magazine here. I think it's probably 60s. And I like all kinds of magazines too, like Arizona Magazine or different regional magazines that have artwork in them, or art magazines, or Somerset, of course. But all kinds of magazines have lots of different things in them. Okay, so storage for my stuff. Well, I sort of like got some ideas from watching Caged Fish about how she stores hers in trays. I kind of like that method, so I have lots of these little box lids that I put images in, and I've got drawers full of these little box lids, and what's nice about them is they do stack, so they don't take up a lot of space. Also like these bigger ones here for bigger images, so these baskets, these bigger box lids, and these trays that I got at Target. I wish I could had more of them. I think I have 5 or 6. So that's how I like to store. And I do love to fussy cut. So you have to be careful when you're storing them because, you know, they can get kind of beat up. Do I have themed journals? Not really. Nope. I would say I do not. Plans to start a new one. So I'm working on this one right now. So until I finish it, I don't think I want to start a new one. I have no plans to start another one. Maybe if I did start a new one, it would be smaller. I like working on a smaller page. Sometimes big pages are hard to fill. But this one has a lot of space left in it. I just did this page this morning. But see, now these pages are not done. So here's a page from a National Geographic, page from an old scrapbook. That one's done. Wallpaper, book pages. This is what I like to use in my glue books because I don't like to start with a blank page. So this gives me a nice background, which I can always add more to if I want to. Okay, and where do I get my magazines? So since I love vintage magazines, I get a lot of those at thrift stores. But I have been known, and when I was working on this one, I have been known to snitch pages out of magazines in waiting rooms. While I was working on this, my brother was in the hospital a lot, and so I had brought this to work on while we had a lot of downtime, you know, waiting for doctor's appointments and stuff. And I would sometimes go in the waiting room and just like look through magazines and just carefully, quietly rip a page out and stick it in my purse. It's bad. But yeah, I've done that. And where else do I get them? Probably for library discards. Our library has a really good system of going through their stuff and discarding things, books and magazines. And you can buy the magazines for sometimes 10 cents or 25 cents. Discarded books are $1. Sometimes they're free. Favorite glue? Well, I really am a big fan of glue sticks. So I like Scotch permanent glue stick. I also like, I like to have a big one. This Avery permanent glue stick is good. Or their Scotch makes a big one too. So, and that's glue sticks work great on, you know, images like this that are just book pages or magazine pages. But if I'm gluing something heavier, thicker, I might use art glitter glue. Or if it's really kind of stiff, I will probably use my Fabri-Tac, because I have used that too. I don't like to use wet glue like Mod Podge or Elmer's. It just causes too much wrinkling in the pages for me. So other tools, well, I have been known to ink pages or ink images before I glued them down, because, and I know I inked some in here, just because, you know, I ink that. Sometimes it just adds, it makes them stand out more and gives them a little bit more pop. Just adds a little color. Yeah, that was inked. I'm not a heavy inker. I'm a light inker, but I do like to ink occasionally. Okay, and oh, so the bonus question is advice to newbies. My advice is to just watch YouTube, because that's what I did. I really, you know, was inspired, like I said, by Shannon Green and by Caged Fish, and I would strongly recommend newbies watch some of their videos. They have some really great skills to share. I learned how to bind a journal from watching Shannon Green, and I learned how to collage from so much stuff I learned from Caged Fish. Okay, so the problem is I don't know who I'm going to tag. I do have some friends that like to do glue books, but they don't have YouTube channels, so I guess I won't tag her. But so I'd hate to. I'm sure there's been plenty of other people tagged. Oh, I know. I do like. I think Diane H makes glue books, and I'm a big fan of her work also. And so I'll tag her if she hasn't. She's probably already been tagged. Another one of my inspirations is Gail Augustinelli, and I kind of think she does glue books also. And Rosemary Morris. They are all great artists. And I want to thank again thanks to Kay for tagging me. I've had a lot of fun doing this. All right, bye.